Like I said in my last video, I love Final Fantasy VII. I love Final Fantasy VII more than anything. This is my favourite piece of media of all time. This is my favourite thing of all time. So you best believe I was beyond excited for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I loved Remake. I have my problems with Remake, but if I'm honest, I didn't think they could go any higher than this. And oh boy, they have blown the roof off with this one. Rebirth is a massive game. It came out last Thursday. I finished it about a week ago on Sunday. Me and my partner wanted to play this game together, and that meant we only had a few days to do it. So I booked 2 days off work, and we absolutely smashed through this in 4 days. It took 51 hours. And usually, after playing 51 hours of a video game in 4 days, I would be fed up. But I still want more. I've started playing this game again and really going through everything and really taking my time, because I did a lot of side stuff the first time, but this time I want to experience it all. I want to see everything this game has to offer. But since I've now had roughly about a week to think about this game and let my feelings on it sit, I think it's time to do a quick little review, a quick little chat about it. We're just going to throw up some gameplay and talk. Nothing complicated, just simple. Bear in mind, this is a spoiler-free video, but you might see some gameplay spoilers if you don't want to see nothing at all. And without further ado, let's begin. I think if there's one thing Final Fantasy VII Remake established in a really clear way, it's that with these remakes, they get it. They get the essence of the original Final Fantasy VII. Final Fantasy VII is a serious game. It is a deeply emotional plot about real human characters, but that doesn't mean it isn't really silly. I was worried when Remake came out that they wouldn't commit to this silliness, you know, stuff like Cloud in a dress, but they doubled down. They didn't even double down, they went tenfold on this, and I'm glad to announce that Rebirth is probably even sillier than Remake. Like, the Gold Saucer section is insane, just as you'd expect it to be, but luckily, all of the serious moments aren't diminished at all. Yet again, the Final Fantasy VII Compendium has hit this perfect tonal balance of complete wackiness and insane shit happening, but a deep, heartfelt story at the same time. If this were lost, I would not like this anywhere near as much as I do. And just as they expanded on the storytelling, they've expanded on the gameplay too. There's open world sections now, which are quite interesting because Remake was a bit corridor simulator, and I like it. I am someone that does not like open world games. I didn't like Breath of the Wild, I don't like The Witcher 3, I have my issues with Red Dead, but this is perfect, because it's skippable. If you really want, you can just ignore all the open world stuff, and I didn't do that. I got distracted quite a lot. I got lost doing all these little missions for Chadley, but I found myself having a fun time because it didn't feel like something I had to do. It didn't feel like a chore. Every task felt bite-sized and it just kept going, and I don't know. That was much more enjoyable than having to climb a tower for 5 minutes in Breath of the Wild. And while you're walking around, the music is amazing and the characters are charming, so you absolutely win regardless. Even if you're not having fun with the gameplay, which you will be by the way, the characters and the music are good enough to keep you going. And then, say you see an enemy while you're walking around and you do get in a fight, now the combat is better than ever, even better than in the Yuffie DLC. Some characters have been streamlined and made a bit better, and synergy attacks have been added, which are like mini limit breaks which you get for using a certain amount of abilities on your characters. Not only is this a cool attack and a cool new way to express yourself, it also encourages you to use multiple characters rather than just sticking with the one. If this wasn't there, I would be sticking with the same character over and over again, but I'll get to that later. Red 13 and Cait Sith are new characters, and they are a joy to play. Red took me a bit of getting used to because his whole gimmick is that he builds up a gauge depending on how much damage you block, but I was never really a blocker in this game anyway. I more prefer to roll. If I can get out the way, I'd rather get out the way than take reduced damage. So with Red 13, I like to play as someone else and then come back to him while the AI is blocked for me. It took a moment getting used to, but he is really, really fun. Cait Sith might be one of my favourites. There is no rhyme or reason to what this little guy does. You just swing, press buttons, and random shit happens. I had no idea how they were going to adapt this thing for Remake, but it is everything I wanted and more. Is he the best character in the game? No, absolutely not. Is he the most fun? He just might be. But Cait Sith is only second in my favourite list because Yuffie is absolutely amazing. Yuffie was designed for her own DLC. She was designed to be the only playable character, and it shows, because now she links up with the party. She is absolutely insane. If an enemy has a weakness, Yuffie can grind it down. She's easily the strongest character and easily the most fun. An absolute blast. Barret I didn't actually like in Remake, but they've really stepped him up. They've given him some new abilities that let him charge his ATB really quickly, so he can either become a staggering machine or a damage machine depending on how you want to approach the fight. It's a good take for this character. Same for Aerith. I always felt she was a bit slow and not as fun in Remake, but they've given her some new wards and some new buffs, and she's a bit more effective as a support type now. Cloud is pretty similar that he was in Remake. He was already a perfect all-rounder, he's just got a few more abilities now. And the same applies for Tifa. And again, she was really fun in Remake, and she's just been given some new crazy shit that makes her even more fun. Under the right circumstances, Tifa will hit like a nuclear bomb. Call her Lockenheimer. I'm a bit bummed out that we don't get to play as Sid and Vincent. I didn't know if this was something they announced before the game, but if it was, I didn't see it, because I don't really watch trailers or anything like that. I guess it just makes me more excited for Part 3, because these two, aside from Cloud, are probably my favourite characters. Obviously, the whole big twist of 7 Remake was that the story is going to be playing out a bit different this time. I loved the story in this game, but if I'm honest, it didn't deviate from the original as much as I was expecting. There are some small tweaks to the characters that make them stronger, and there's small things in the areas and people who've been added, and every single deviation is absolutely wonderful. For example, Gongaga in the original was tiny. It took you about 10 minutes, you go in, you fight the Turks, you leave. It was optional. But here, it's mandatory, it's massive, it has links to other Final Fantasy VII games. It was just a joy, it made me happy, it had awesome design, amazing moments, and it was honestly one of my favourite areas in the game. But then like the Gold Saucer in the original was massive, and in this, it's just absolutely batshit insane. It's like a mini Yakuza area. I loved every moment spent here. Oh, and the characterization of Dio. What a stud. But like I said, the story sort of plays out similarly to the original, but then when things do start to deviate and do start to change in a major way, oh boy, hold on to your hats, because it gets incredible. The entire last 4 hours of this game, my heart was in my mouth. It might be my favourite gaming experience of all time. I am literally itching for anything more. I cannot wait for Part 3. I hope we get a bit more DLC like we did with Yuffie, but I don't even know. Maybe we get a Sid and Vincent side adventure? Maybe we get like a Turks DLC or something? I don't know. I just want more. And somehow I forgot, this wasn't in my notes, this is just a side point. There are minigames everywhere in this game. Some people have complained about it, they're too many, and I'm going to be completely frank and honest, those people are fucking boring. The minigames in this are legendary. They're so fun. I finished the entire Queen's Blood quest, and it makes me upset because I want to play more. When I finished this game, I was overwhelmed. I enjoyed it immensely, and I didn't even explore 60% of it. But this game has done things to me. I haven't stopped thinking about it once since I finished. When I finished it, I thought, it's a 9.5, but who am I kidding? This is my single favourite gaming experience I've ever had, and for that, I have to give it a 10 out of 10. Is it my favourite game of all time? No. Not only is it too soon to say that, but these two are so great, I'm unsure if they're ever going to be topped. When this trilogy is complete, it might just be the best remake of all time. But what did you think of Rebirth? Because I could talk for hours. I just have to make more notes because my brain is so scrambled on what's gone on here. Comment down below your thoughts, leave a like on the video. I'm gonna go play more Queen's Blood. I will see you in the next one.